2008 is welcome. Okay.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Thank you for sharing, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
It's all about, caring and sharing. That's all the things have your motive here it is, right? So what methods can work, what methods can't work, and how do we share? How do we, win together? Right? That's the main goal of Things Abio here. So I think a few people have joined here. So Dhanu, maybe we'll give maybe 2 more minutes.
Yeah, I have a question. Will you share the recording?
Sure. What? Sidebar. Sidebar, okay.
So those of you who are not talking, can you please mute Things Abio so others can talk? Yeah.
I have a question. Are you going to share the recording?
Yes, sir. Yes, buddy. Obviously, always. And yes, the recording is on, and we will record and we'll share it at the end of.
Okay.
I mean, after the session, then our team has to upload. So you can expect by midnight today or tomorrow morning for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. So thank you all for joining. So we'll wait maybe another minute. So we'll have a few more Things Abians might be joining. And then we can start the session. In the meanwhile, if anybody wants to talk, if I know Tirath has been speaking until now, he's really a veteran here, I would say. He started since 2008. It's almost like 16 years or 17 years experience. So I'm trying to learn from him too, to see what he has undergone or challenges in all these years. So if anyone else is here, if you would like to share your success or failures or both, I mean, you are more than welcome while we are waiting for a few more people to join. If anybody wants to speak up?
That's the question. Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, hello, buddy. I think you're trying to speak, right?
No, Sairam. I was just muting.
Oh, okay. Someone is trying to speak, so I'm not sure who it is. Then I think I can go ahead. It's in 504.
Yeah, sure, Sai. I think
we're expecting few more, or I don't know what is the expected people here.
Yeah, I think we are good, Sai. If you're ready, I think you can go ahead start off, and once you're done, probably I'll take over.
Yeah. I'll. Okay, so Things Abians, thank you all for joining here and for taking your valuable time. I know Sunday 5 o'clock is very crucial time, but yet you took the time to join this Things Abio meeting. So we really appreciate every one of you. So hopefully it will be a valuable session. At the end, you will get some learning curve. I would definitely expect that. To give the introduction, I don't know how many of you know, my name is Sairam Yeruva. I'm the founder and CEO of Things Abio. And I'm here to give some introduction about, about Things Abio and all. And after that, I'll hand off to, Dhanunjay. He's a product expert here, and he's been a champion in both the product features as well as the trading and investing. He has done, incredible things in the market. So he will be taking over explaining the features of Things Abio. But I'm here just to give a general ideas or how Things Abio started or my personal experience real quick. I'll try to wrap it up in 5 to less than 10 minutes. And we also have a few other Things Abio joined here, Shiva and Kavya. They're all from our Things Abio. So they'll be assisting as needed here. So not sure. I think I'm thinking all of you are newly joined here in the last 2 or 3 days. If so, that's the whole. We wanted to to give you some sort of an idea of how ThinkSabio works, or if you're new to trading or investing, what are the things that you can be aware of or you can learn. So those are the ideas that I am thinking to cover it up, right? So I'll give you my story of ThinkSabio or the stock market personal journey, and then Dhanu will go and explain how our product works or how you can leverage information, all good stuff. Okay. So to give my introduction, I came to this country in 1999, and of course, after 1 year, 1998, and after 1 year in my bachelor days, roommates were talking about stock market. Then I said, oh, I need to do this too. And then I started not knowing anything, and I invested and I lost money. Then I said to myself, oh God, I can't lose this kind of money. So I said, maybe stock market doesn't fit for me, or I'm not knowledgeable enough. Then I said, okay, no, I don't want to do the stock market anymore in my life, perhaps. That was my commitment in 2000 or 2001, before I get wedded. Then I accordingly stood by, and then I got married, and rest of the story and all good stuff. In 2018, fast forward, I don't have too much time to go through all the stories, but fast forward, right? 2018, until then I did not touch, as I said to myself. So 2018, unexpectedly, I read the CNBC article, which shows the top 10 hedge funds, how much money they made. That article blown me away. I'll show you real quick the screen also, so that you guys can see. Can you see my screen here?
Not yet, Sai.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
now,
coming up. Yeah, we can.
okay. Okay, let me bring it up to this URL rather than my Word doc. So this 2018 May 30th, in last 2 days or 3 days ago, we had a 6th anniversary too. So on this year, right, 2018 May 30th, I don't know why my eyes fell on this article, for God's grace, but I read this article and I got stuck at this place. And I was reading this article, the same place where I was sitting in my basement right now. I read this article and then I got stuck at this place. I looked at this guy, James Simons, and I looked at his 2017 earnings, 1.7 billion. That also didn't bother me or didn't stuck me. But when it comes to per hour, 119,000 per hour got stuck in my mind. What the hell he is doing? And why he is making 192,000 per hour? What is he? I mean, who is he? So that made me think that moment, and I was like stuck. I got like moonstruck. And then, I immediately went to Google and then Googled who is James Simons, what does he do, all that good stuff, right? Then I realized, okay, this guy is doing stock market. Then I thought, okay, back 1999, I didn't do well because I didn't have any method. I did not have any, a methodology or pattern. Then I lost because somebody is telling in the room, hey, buy Satyam, buy Infosys or whatever, Qualcomm. And then I bought it, and I have no knowledge of why am I doing what am I doing, right? So then I came to after this article, then I realized, okay, there is a method to it. And if we follow the successful people, maybe we can make money too. So, follow the successful leaders or successful institution, whoever you call it. Then that day we started with, knowing who these 10 people, this article talked about top 10 hedge funds, how much they made money on that year or the previous year. So David Tepper, he made like, 1.5 billion per hour, 171,000. Kenneth Griffin, all these people kind of made me to think, how did they make money? I mean, at the end, they are also humans. Of course, they may have good education, MIT degrees, or whatever the finance degree and whatnot. But what made me to think that day is, if I can follow them and see what are all the stocks they are buying, maybe by taking the law of averages, and then if I apply to myself, maybe I can have the success. That is the thought in 2018, brought this ThinkSabio into the live. And, we just weren't stopped at top 10 hedge funds they mentioned in this article. But, we went and collected more and more institutions. I think today we have around 7,000 institutions data in our ThinkSabio, product. And then all we're trying to do, my friends, I'm telling you, I did not have any financial degree. I'm not a smart, A+ grade student. I failed actually in MCA. That's a very, sad story of mine. So I'm not an academically super topper. Although my parents wanted me, I never had that luck. So what I wanted is a common man and woman without a financial acumen, without a financial degree, without so much of knowledge. How can we invest in the stock market? How can we make it simple is what I thought in 2018 when I looked at these articles. So I wanted a system where I can be informed with a simplistic way so I can make a decision. Right? That is what ThinkSabio. And then when I had that thought in 2018, May 30th, then I looked into the other websites, hey, who are all providing this kind of information about these top institutions where they are buying and selling. Of course, there are websites like Fintel, Guru Focus, and Whale Wisdom. These are all the people who have been in the industry for last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Then when I looked at their website, it did not give me any feeling or any confidence that, yeah, this information is useful, that I can make a decision. I was not satisfied. I was hungry. Then I was working in the healthcare industry. I was working for Blue Cross Blue Shield doing a reporting work back then. So I know how to put the reports because that's what my nature of work, right, in the healthcare industry. So what I thought was, so how can I put that healthcare reporting information into the stock market so that I can get what I wanted to get it? See, that is the driving factor for ThinkSabio today to be one of the prominent features that we have, and I'm extremely proud that no one else is providing in the market, honestly. And of course, Dhanu will show you, but even quickly, I can show you one information because right now I already have it here, or I can bring it up. For example, right, if you are trying to make a decision, you see this table over here that I'm showing you here. This particular table is the unique feature of one of the unique features. There are many other features of ThinkSabio where a common person like you and me can make a decisions, right? So that is where we're trying to come up with. There is another stock. Okay, I mentioned this morning. I'll tell you one more actually. Hold on. So this is one stock, right, which I talked this morning in ThinkSabio group, and you can say, why are you saying this particular stock is really good? You are asking me a question, and I have a mathematical proof to tell you, yes, I am absolutely confident on this particular stock because if you look at this matrix table, it's a very simple, right? It's a simple matrix table which has rows and columns. We all know we did in our schooling. So in this particular table, if you look at it, look at the counts, institution counts. For each quarter, we projected 10 quarters, right, to see what they have done in the last 10 quarters so that you get an idea of what these big people or the top guns are doing, these rich people or institutions where they have millions and billions and trillions of dollars. So what are they doing with this particular stock? So if you look at the numbers here, in 2022 quarter one, there are 131 institutions invested in this particular ON stock, right? And of course, there are 9,000 institutions data we have because they are the one who have 100 million or above, because they are the only one who report to the government, like SEC. The rest of the institutions are common people like you, me, they don't report, but which we are not worried about it. We are taking the data where they have reported to the government that they're buying and selling, right? That's the data we have, which is the public data. Even you can get it too. But what we are trying to do is we are simplifying it and organizing it in a very user-friendly manner. That is the ThinkSabio's inherent feature. So let us look at the example here. This particular stock ON. I talked about this stock this morning. If you are in the group, right, you may have seen it. Let's see where. Yeah, stocks group. If you look at here, this afternoon I was talking about ON. Let me rephrase that real quick. Okay, so here, right? So I talked about this stock because it got into the trending stocks. That's first feature how I came to know, yes, this can be looked into it. Because from the last 3 weeks, this has been going up and up and up, and it gave 40% returns. So if you dig further into it, so this is the important feature that I brought it to ThinkSavvy, which is no big deal. Even you can do it. I don't have any rocket science, right? So what I'm trying to say here is, based on this table that I have just shown you, since the last 9 quarters, institutions have been increasing their overall shares each quarter. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you look at the shares here, total institution shares, in 2022, they have 92 million. Of 131 institutions invested, and their shares are 92 million. When it comes to the next quarter, Q2 2022, the institution count went up by 147, which means 131 went to 147, and their shares count went to 106. That means 92 became 106. And the next quarter, 172, and the institution shares became 107. So if you so on and so forth, if you come until the latest quarter that we have, the institution count keep on going up, and so does their shares too. So 92 million in quarter 2022 became 170 million in 2024. So what does it tell you as an educated person? So which means, in a plain English, the institutions have been trusting or believing in this company, and they kept on increasing their shares. They kept on investing their money into this particular company called ONON. ONON, I also realized it today, it's an apparel company, right? So you just come here and then Google, right? So what is this ONON? That's what I did too today, right? So this is a fashion industry, right? They're selling apparel like shoes and all kind of stuff, right? I come here and then look at it to see what this industry is about, right? So they're trying to sell the shopping kind of thing, shoes and apparel and accessories, right? So now, so this came into our attention because it started trending. Since 3 weeks, every week it is going up. So how do you know it is going up? So if you look at 10th May, the closing was $30. The following Friday, 17th May, it went up to $38. So which is a gain of 25%. Because that week, I think it reported their earnings report. That's good. The following week, 24th May, it still continued to go up 5% or 6%, 5.5. And then the following week, which is ended last week, it still went up by 6%. So this is telling me mathematically, last 3 weeks, each week it is going up and up and up from the last 3 weeks. So does it mean, can it continue into the 4th week? That may be a question for you and for me as well. Well, I mean, it is a probability, right? It is a possibility that if it is continued 3 weeks, it may continue. We don't know for sure. Absolutely, nobody knows. If I know it, I'll put my entire money in on, and then I will retire. So, but this is bringing a statistical evidence that, yes, last 3 weeks, this has been going up. And then adding further to it, then I see the nine quarters institutions have been increasing. So this is giving me confidence. This is not like a, not like a, cheap company, or this company has some potential. Otherwise, 9 quarters, which is almost, for the 2 years, consecutively 2 years, institutions have been adding up their shares. So this is how I'm going to determine, yes, I can put my money perhaps, and then I can stay and see how my money can grow, right? So these are the kind of the features we brought in ThinkSavvy into the ThinkSavvy website to make it simple. Believe it or me, believe it or not, I never spend more than 15, 20, 30 minutes while I'm investing the stock. The reason is we are following the smart money. We are following these successful people. So we are modeling after their success. So once I have that evidence, I am cool. I'm going to invest into it. I've invested good chunk of money, in all these stocks. So that's all. I ended up right over here at this moment. And then I will give you one or two or quick of my experiences in the stock market, right? In the journey, which may be useful, right? Since some of you are newly joining here or newly into the stock market, I would caution you, team, that first, don't go and invest into the, the stocks without knowing it, right? So I want you, ThinkSavvy website, we have, virtual money, virtual portfolio, which Dhanu will show you. we give you $10,000 virtual money. That is not real money, it's virtual money. But you can do trading in real time. Real time meaning you can buy right now ON stock today when you go to the virtual portfolio and then see whether this methodology is working or not. Right? You do your due diligence and then see how this particular ThinkSabio website, or your strategies are working. So, I mean, here if you are freshly joining into ThinkSabio website, you will see $10,000. Here I experiment my strategies the way I want and see if my methods are working or your stock picking strategies are working or not. Instead of you putting your real money directly into a brokerage company like Robinhood or wherever, but you would start first understanding how these things work, because stock market is never straightforward line. Please remember that. It has fluctuations. It goes ups and downs, and one should be prepared to handle that kind of fluctuations, right? So that's where you will be applying some of the rules. Okay, some of the blue chip stocks you invest and you let it be safe, so that if you are investing, for example, $100, I would put $50 in a safest possible stocks like blue chip stock like Amazon, Google, or whatever. The remaining $50 is what I'm going to take on the new companies which are trying to upcoming, like ON, for example, in the example I have shown, or some of the companies which you may be seeing in ThinkSabio where people are investing or others are investing. That way, you are playing safe because you're not entirely risking the entire money. So that's one of the strategies. Another thing is which I have learned in my personal life that I have gone in a little unexpected direction is margin. Okay, that's where margin truly helped me one time to build amazing wealth, and one time it blown me away too. It killed me as well. So if anybody is using margin, I would caution you, don't go, first of all, don't use it until you build some good wealth. If at all you can't resist, don't go beyond 10%. That's what I'm trying to do right now, honestly. First, beginning of my days, I used 100% margin. And one time it helped me and I built an incredible portfolio in 7 digits or 8 digits or whatever, 7 digits. And it blew me away because I made mistakes, and because of margin, it killed me. So now, luckily, I got back because of one stock, VKTX. Thanks to VKTX, it brought me back in life. And now my realization is I am not going to use more than 10%. That is a self-discipline rule I applied to myself. So this is one painful experience that I have learned. So please take caution. And the second mistake that I have done is I went too much into a couple of penny stocks, and when they are falling, I did not take action. So I would not recommend, when you are brand new and investing, don't enter into penny stocks. First, build your portfolio. Let your portfolio be into gains of 20%, 30%. When you have the table money, that's called table or in-house money or table money. When you have extra money other than your invested money, then you use that money and play with it. Again, I'm not a certified financial advisor. I'm not giving an advice. I'm only sharing my experiences. And I'm not in a capacity to even give advice. I'm just like you. I started only 4 years ago or 5 years ago, but I know here Terath is more experienced than me. Here we are all sharing our experiences. That's all it is. We are not financial advisors. But my experiences is just 2 or 3, my friends. Don't overuse margin or don't use margin. Second thing is, don't get into penny stocks and put your entire money thinking that overnight you will be rich. No, that doesn't happen. Don't ever risk your money. And when it is falling, and if you don't believe that stock, then cut it off below 10% is what I learned. And earlier days, we were like watching, praying God, oh, it will recover. And we waited until it lost 90%. After that, it's not of much use. So the best of the best rule is, if you think your strategy did not work for whatever reason, then cut it off at 8% or 6% or below 10% is what the rule one must set in. Otherwise, many of our, unfortunately, I may have to use this word, our Indian blood, unfortunately, our parents or grandparents never taught us how to sell. They only told us buy. I hope I'm not making it generic. That's where many of the people, including me, when the stocks, see, for example, I'll talk about NEO, right? We caught at $3 and it went to $65. It built an incredible wealth to many people. But when it is falling from 65, we are all looking and praying to the God. 65, it fell to 60. It's only $5. We waited. It fell to 50. And it fell 50. It may recover. And fall to 40, 40 to 30, 30 to 20, 20. It's like it went up crazy like that, but we did not take any action back days. That was the utter failure, I admit. That we should, when it is falling like that, we should put at 65 when it fall to 60, then we will say, hey, when you fall from 65 to 63, I'm going to sell 1/4 or whatever the fourth of your percentage of your stocks. You have 100, I'm going to sell it off 10 perhaps. When it falls from 62 to 58, I'm going to sell off another 10. Another 10. Likewise, if we have done it, we could have built incredible wealth. That is one other failure I must admit I have learned in a hard way. So these are the 3 experiences I would quickly like to share, team. And I know it took a lot of time, but I feel it's extremely important. You guys need to know, especially when you are newly joining. And and the last point is, don't be FOMO, my friends. Fear of missing. FOMO is nothing but fear of missing. If somebody is investing and somebody is showing you screenshot, hold your emotion. You ask yourself, what is my portfolio? And am I in a position to take a risk? And if I lose money today, will I be able to get back my money? Or do I have my new money coming in next week or next month? If it is not the case, don't risk yourself. Play the game safe, my friend. If you do it safely, and I can tell you with an absolute confidence, we can build enormous amount of wealth in the stock market. I swear to God. I have learned there is a method to it, but we have to follow the rules. Then we can become, I mean, I cannot say like this James Simons or whatever. Of course, they have a lot of money, they have invested. But in our capacity, whatever the money that we have, we can build wealth is what I believed in things here. There is a method to it. But don't do mistakes and lose money and then say, oh, my horoscope is not good or my time is not good. Don't do all that. We are all well-educated team. We are here in US. We have good education. So don't risk. And when you are investing, always ask, I'm putting my $100. What if I am wrong? Especially, I personally suggest, if you're a beginner, don't ever mess around with options. I strongly suggest, if you are a beginner, don't even look at the option side. First, build your portfolio, gain some money. Once you have, let's say you put $100 and you got to $150. Now you have $50 extra money. Now you take out of $50, $5, then you risk or play whatever you want to do it. But don't try to build the wealth overnight and lose all your money and say stock market sucks. This is what I have done in 2000. I mean, if I had a method back then, and if I followed the way that ThinkSavvy website I had back then, I would have been in a very different position. I would have been building so many high schools, government schools in India by now. I would have done differently so many things. But, my entry in the stock market is only in 2019, although I started in 2018. But again, I have to take a break 1 year for different reasons. So my true experience started in 2021. So it's just 4 years or 3 years, but I gained incredible confidence. Yes, we're going to build wealth in the stock market. I tell you with an absolute confidence, I'm going to show you how much wealth we can build in the stock market very soon by opening up my portfolio live. I have gained the confidence. Of course, I lost money. I have gained, like Michael Jordan's story. I played so many games and I lost so many. That's why I succeed. I love that quote. And I think that is what we have a method here too. We have a method. We have a mathematical method. I'm not like a Baba, and telling in a air, hey, this may work. We have an evidence. ThinkSavvy has an evidence for whatever stock it is talking. We have a mathematical evidence. And mathematical evidence, math cannot go wrong. Evidence. Whether the stock will perform or not, of course, no one knows, right? Tomorrow what ON will do, I don't know tomorrow morning. But I can only say based on the evidences that I have thus far gathered, I can say, yes, this has a probability. Just like, the weather channel said tomorrow 90% chances rain may come, but 10% it may not, right? You may see a complete sunshine tomorrow morning. So likewise, we are following a mathematical evidence and we have a method to it. And if you do follow, or if we do follow, and I think we can see a very good successful wealth building an opportunity in the stock market. You don't need to have a financial degree. You don't need to be, you can be still a software programmer or a pharmacist or doctor, or whatever the profession you are in. You can do a part-time. You don't need to spend 24/7 in ThinkSavvy. You don't need to, but you write some rules, your stop loss, if you are doing it, and then you follow simple rules, I think we can build well. Thanks, everyone. And thank you so much. And I leave it from here to Dhanu. I think he will go over with the ThinkSavvy, the real product features. And again, this cannot be completed in over one session, and we'll continue a few other sessions. We just want to teach you how to catch a fish, rather than giving you fish, right? I mean, as I said, my story, I don't know anything about stock market in 2018. I'm just applying a simple common sense methods. For example, I know Dhanu will go over. I cannot resist to show this, right? It's a simple mathematical evidence, right? So this is one other my loving report, ThinkSavvy Diamonds, we called it. Here, it's a simple mathematical condition, team. You understand? So this particular stock, from the last quarter to the current quarter, institutions have increased minimum 50%. So my simple question to myself is, why did institutions, in a collection of unknown institutions, why did they all increase more than 50% in this particular stock? Why? Why did they do that? And that's where my curiosity will start, and research and see if that company I can connect to. Can I understand that company? So what did all these big people did it? And that's where I start taking the steps, and I'll go from there. Okay. So that's all it is, team. And thank you all. Dhanu, I think you can take over, buddy. If there are any questions and comments, we can take at the end, right?
Yeah.
And
Sure,
I
Sai.
stop it. And thank you. I know I took a little time when I have when you give, and I usually unstoppable talker. But
Right.
again, thank you all. I hope it's useful, especially because these are live, real-time experiences. And I'll tell you one more thing, ThinkSavvians. Believe me, we are very honest and very radical, transparent people. We are not trying to, gimmicks or whatever. We don't do that. It's not in our blood. We will show very transparently what we do, and we are honest. We speak what we do what we speak, type of thing. Any screen sharing, any buying or selling that I show over there, they're all real, and I'm not trying to do any kind of magics over here. My intent, to be very honest, is if I can build wealth, I want my fellow ThinkSavvians should build wealth also. That's what my character is. That's why we built a school back in India, because I have the mindset of giving back. That is where I'm coming from. Okay. So I can't speak more. I know I've spoken a lot, but will continue to give as many sessions as possible, so we can share and see how we can learn from each other. That's all it is. Okay. Thank you, Dhanu. Take over, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank you, Sai.
stopping sharing.
Yeah. Thank you, Sai, for all the conversation and sharing your experience. Hi, team. I know it's a Sunday evening. We thought 5 p.m. would suffice for all time zones, and maybe you'd be relaxing and preparing for to return back to office next day. So we thought this would be a good time. On that note, so far Sai covered a lot of things. Some of it I may not be able to cover again. I won't be able to cover again, considering time and all. But quick note. As the Sai stated, he started off with the article back in 2018, and then that's how it started, right? So going back to that point, but to simply put, from that article, he got thought of building a product that might be useful to our community, or he wanted to share what he learns from his research and put it over to a lot of our community, or anybody will be part of it. So that's how it started off. Then ThinkSavvy built a website, and then a lot of reports that might be useful. So here today, for us to know about this product, understand things better, right? Let me start sharing my screen as well. Hope you guys can see my screen. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes. Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, so I think I pulled up individual statistical report. That's what I have brought up. So before we pull up and know each of the product capabilities, I'll go into a lot more details. So few things we need to know is, like you said, he saw an article where they made money, but the idea was to follow them to see if it will be any beneficial. But to follow them, if I'm trying to replicate a person, I need to know the details or something about it, right? Without that, I can't go any further. So based on that research, things have you got to know how these trades can be seen or their holdings can be followed. So when you come to things you need to know a few things about something called SEC, Security Exchange Commission, right? And then institution counts, and shares, obviously price and volume. As long as you know these things, you'll be able to connect to the reports that are developed, along with so many other things on our own, how we can build a perception towards a particular stock, or in terms of building or to be able to be in a position to decision making for a particular investment. Okay, so I talked about what you need to know about SEC. SEC is nothing but a governing body that looks after uh, everyone's transactions, especially institutions or hedge funds or investors who hold more than 100 million worth of holdings or assets under management. So let's just say I could be a registered institute, registered hedge fund, or a investor who is heavily 100 millions plus worth portfolio is being managed. As long as I have that kind of assets underneath my company or my institute, whatever you name it, then I have to start reporting them on a quarterly basis. Okay. Or let's say I have 100 millions of worth of assets under management, and if I'm buying any into a particular company more than 5% stake, then I have to act immediately within 1 to 10 business days of the transaction that I have done, right? But let's say if I'm an insider, okay, of a company, then like CEO or any role of a significant role, then I have to report within 1 to 2 days of any action I do. Okay, so that's where it comes. Okay, you need to know what a SEC is and what are those rules, right? As I said, $100 million plus portfolio if you're managing, and every quarter you have to report what you hold, what kind of stocks you hold in your portfolio. It could be 100 million, it could be 200, 1 billion, or tons of billions of portfolio like this hedge funds manage. So when that was reported, which is public, like it was mentioned earlier, ThinkSabio went ahead, made efforts in the right direction to be able to see the data, fetch them. Once you fetch them, make it into a more understandable way and put them into a clean report where it gives you comparisons. It gives you some ideas or a direction about where a lot of people are showing interest. The reason is, especially we being in America, when you jump onto a particular restaurant or a product, the first thing you do is reviews, you look at it, you get to know about that product or what people are thinking. Similarly, right, if 10 people are investing into a particular stock here, is there any interest? Okay, what is this? That kind of added advantage you're getting on the table right away without much effort. That's why Sai said I would spend no more than 30 minutes or no more than 15 minutes to be able to identify a particular pattern stock, and then the fate of it depends on so many other things. But at least to start with, you are able to quickly analyze and find right companies which are moving in the right directions and which has a lot of interest by biggest billionaires. Just like if you want to pick any examples in the Indian market right now, if a famous investor is falling like Reliance, right, they are making progress ever since last 30-40 years. Like every year they're progressing. If they're making progressing, you would be interested why this company is growing, where they are investing. If they're making move, right, it is again a calculated risk. Whether it applies to us, whether it's a safe bet for us, is something we have to analyze. But thing is that company has got some reputation. They already made a name and they have been showing the progress. So following them is one kind of a lead. Basically, you're getting one lead out of, let's say you have 3 to 4 checkpoints to be able to match, to get into and make some wise decisions. At least one checkpoint was, okay, a lot of people already defined that this could be a noteworthy stock. So that's how, you need to know about SEC, what its role and how that is trying to put in the data to the people's perspective, and how ThinkSabio has collectively worked to massage the data and bring it to on a good, easily understandable pattern, right? That is SEC. Okay, when you see this SEC, okay, how they are telling us how many people are in it or how many investors are in it, what should I really look into, right? That should be the question I might be getting right away. On that note, that's why I said you need to know what institution counts are in terms of ThinkSabio. So that's what this replication is. This is institution counts, wherein, between quarter to quarter, there are significantly numbers are changing, but those many investors have shown interest into this particular stock using that SEC reports or whatever is being reported to the SEC. So today, how much amount of data do we have? In market, they might be reporting between 7 to 8,000. Almost all or every investor's information is available with ThinkSabio. They hold around 7,000 plus institutions of data. Out of that, these many people have continually showed interest into this particular stock over time or over different quarters. Okay, that's why I said you need to know what institution counts are. And then, we talked about knowing shares, right? Shares means, I know 10 people of our friends are interested in buying home. We always write, okay, everybody is buying there. What is the good deal of moving to that place, or why people are interested? What are the rates? This is how we start talking. These are our day-to-day things. That's why they don't look surprising, or we might know what would be the right questions to ask, or what could be the right things to look into, right? For buying a house or for buying a car, okay, my budget, my, what is the space I'm looking for, etc., etc. Few 4 or 5 items that you already finalize that these could be the things I've been looking. You'll get an answer. Similarly, before you shop a stock, you need to have what are the things I need to look into, or what could be the things that can make a particular stock for my investment. So similarly, that would bring to shares. So each quarter, how the shares are being reported to SEC is being captured by ThinkSabio. So knowing that information, having that information also will help you to see the interest of successful investors, right? Out of 7,000, whoever invested, what they're trying to do, where they're trying to progress. So that also becomes a major factor. Other than that, price. As long as these successful things are happening in terms of interest from a lot of people, which you can say as counts, and a lot of people putting in a lot of money, right? So let's say I'm interested, but putting $1 versus me putting $100 is big chunk. Similarly, second person investing $10 versus $1,000 is a big difference. So that's where it gets you to shares, and then that is implied towards how the price is performing, how the interest of investors, it could be day trade or long term, etc., etc., volume is also progressing. So all this, across anywhere you go in the reports, these are the few things that you need to know. That way you understand, okay, the significance of those particular variables, you can call it, right? So SEC, institution counts, shares, and then price, volume. Okay, with this you will be able to figure out, as long as you deep dive into each of the reports, you might find more wealthy one. Now today ThinkSabio shares good findings by going through or by massaging different set of data and coming to a conclusion on a particular stock. Similarly, anyone, like Sai said, they could be from any field. So this caught my interest because even people, my own cousins from India, who has less education for whatever reasons, and then no jobs, sitting at home, of course they need to be given some fund, at the same time some trial and error, and then some confidence to start off, but they can do it just sitting there from you know from okay, stock market is not for us kind of scenario, to okay, if I put in effort, maybe I will try to find the possibilities, the probabilities, and success comes with so many factors also aligning, as you know, right, in any business or even our careers, etc., etc. So long story short, only these few things, and then how well the reports are suggesting in different directions, with that effort you will be able to clearly come to conclusions of your investment slowly, with failures, and knowing where we failed, how to improvise, etc., etc. Okay, so these are the things. I'll go through more details, but this is the basic step. If you are new to ThinkSabio, to understand if they talk tomorrow something, okay, what they're talking about, or how to even look up. These are the best few things that you need to know. Once you know those, as a website, they have a lot of features. We can cover those, or as for us to be able to find a valuable stock, there are a lot of reports. We can look into those. I'll try to see. This was planned for 2 hours. Sometimes it is short, sometimes it could be good enough. We'll try to cover all the scenarios as much as possible. Again, these are self-explanatory if you go by report naming, and if you understand the few things we just talked, right? Once you have that particular knowledge, this should be very easy, because the reports are all self-explanatory. On that note, before I'm talking in terms of an individual who never started or who is about to start versus who is experienced. For all kinds, we are trying to sink in this information. So ThinkSabio as a platform, they have a clean website where you can have different features planned. One of that is having your portfolio, and then trying to have virtual portfolio if you like to play around. I'm sure brokerages give it. It's just a facility that was provided. So again, self-explanatory. You buy and sell using stock, etc. Okay, and then you also have watch list that you can make. It's a real portfolio, virtual portfolio, doesn't matter. So you can add any stock at any point of time. That way, okay, instead of investing, you caught this, you want to see how it would perform, your thoughts. That's a learning curve. You continuously fail, then you write down, okay, my pattern of this analysis did not work for this reason, because market suddenly crashed because of some news, or that stock did not, market was running but stock is not working. That means my analysis completely went blind. So this kind of notes you can write. They have a notes column too, which is very useful. Just like we get education for 20-25 years to be able to make some returns and then great careers. Similarly, some effort a few years with good homework, then the success might be rolling in stock market too. So like that, you can make watch list. One good thing I like is what's compared to others. I think now Robinhood brokerage app has it too. When you price when added, they don't show it. If you put it in watch list, it stays in watch list. After a few days, or when you're looking at too many tickers or stocks, you eventually lose control of when you caught that particular stock. What could be your analysis? That's why I said your clear notes why you caught it, your clear failures why you failed, all those when you try to capture and try to improvise, there is a possibility for betterment of our investments. So that kind of good platform is provided. Clearly, price when added, you get it. Then how it's performing, etc., and etc. So that is one facility. Okay. So apart from that, I know a lot of people have a lot of confusion when they join newly, how to join, etc., etc. So there is simply a community where you have a lot of groups. I'm sure things have been created a lot of groups, irrespective of how many you join or you join into all. No need to get confusion. As I said, it's self-explanatory. So Think Your Stocks is a stock group, a Telegram stock group where you can chat basically about any stocks. Since it's free to chat, people share their opinion. Think Your admin team shares their viewpoints on stocks they find, or any queries any of our Think Sapiens have, they might respond to them. And coming to Think Savvy stock alerts, just like it clearly says it's an alert, they all their findings are presented in a timely manner as long as it feels it's noteworthy, and with some possibility of entry points, possibility of target points, possibility of having a clean SL, just in case some of us panic or oversize them, whatever reason. So not necessarily as the Think Savio's viewpoint is that we bring knowledge, we give a platform to learn, analyze as individuals, but not their intention is not to bring in alerts where you buy and sell. From that, what happens? You might succeed in that trade, you might succeed that year, but eventually it will fade out because that's not your knowledge. I don't think this is a very hard thing for any of our users or whoever is present here today to understand. If I copy, I can pass that exam that year. If I ask and do things, I code, I can survive that particular session or that particular, as long as I'm doing offline. But one day, a pure session like this, go live, do it, boom, I'm not going to perform. This is a very fairly simple thing to understand. The same way, their intent is to give ideas, they bring stocks that are having potential. At the same time, self-knowledge, focus of learning how to pick the stock is their main motive. So same way, options, Think Savvy options is for chit chat. Option alerts is like if something valuable, which might be more positive way of performer, they share it. Not necessarily especially options, nobody can predict. But those are the four. Like that, it's very self-explanatory where you can focus and understand. Okay, then jumping back, how do I find stocks? When I first joined, maybe 3 years ago, during the COVID period, there were a lot of people who did good. Some of their screenshot, honestly, screenshots motivated me to be able to look into what exactly Think Savvy is trying to do, right? Someone shared, I got 50,000, 70,000, some N-Phase Energy, ENPH was the stock. And there was one stock called VRXT, I think VXRT or VXRT, that Sai invested, obviously, who spoke earlier. He had a huge 300 or 400 screen, 400K screen, which really, like, just like he got fascinated to that article, why they are making 190,000 an hour. I felt, okay, how did he make it, right? That's when I thought I have to research and learn. So that brings me to different types of reports to explore and learn by myself. So I'll go through few things, and then most important things where you get to find good stocks on your own and you can play around. This involves today I'm going to cover, which involves long term, short term, etc., etc. However, the main motive should be, where do I fit as an investor, as my experience, within, as per my budget levels, as per my risk level. All those are our individual variables that should help make a decision, but not okay, this report is saying something, okay, that's it, it will go ahead and invest. No, but it depends. There are a lot of variables in stock market. Okay, but jumping back, so as I said, with that kind of information, they try to pull in good reports, which is called individual statistical report. When this is useful, right? When do you think you would like to come to this report and try to see any content or gain information or get information? Basically, when a particular friend of ours says, oh, yesterday I invested in Apple, and then we don't know what it is, right? Few things, quickly, things SABIO analysis you can do, and of course any other portals, but it gives you perspective of, okay, how famous is this Apple even in this market? Does, in an investor world, does it mean anything to investors, etc., etc., kind of information you can get it. Again, there are so many things, again, they are very self-explanatory, right? But this one table summarizes to everything in terms of what we talked, how this is progressing, how much of people are showing interest, etc., right? And then they categorized into a few things. Out of the investors who has invested into this particular stock, who are the top people who are owning this, right? Like, for example, BlackRock has around 7.7 million shares, Vanguard has 6.6 million shares, etc., 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 right? So this gives you a perspective who is investing and who are the real holders into this particular stock. Similarly, if you saw earlier during the start of this session, Sai went through an article and captured all the top billionaires who performed well in stock market and was able to keep up with the pace of the markets for years together, right? Consecutively. It's not like random 1 year pop and then vanish. But whoever they've been consistently maintaining, they are categorized as, those 10 people they categorized as top 10 hedge funds. Out of those just top 10, how many people invested? 2 people were interested in this stock, something like that. So this gives, when you get to know about stock randomly from someone, you will know, okay, what does this stand in terms of investors' interest, at least something like that, right? Because the idea here is, you want to find something that can be good noteworthy investment for your money. If you want to risk, there are different ways. There are penny ones, there are daily flyers, there are options, but that's not your goal in terms of, until you make a safe haven investment, right? On that note, to understand the perspective of it, if I bring up the Apple, you want to see how that table looks like here, right? Out of 7,000 count, you see why this company is famous, why this is a trillion-dollar company, so that's the reason. You have the reasons here, 4, 7, 9, 6. But what I'm trying to say is, if there were existence of Think Sabio back in 2010, back in 2005, or even 11, 12 time frame, we could have caught Tesla maybe, because a lot of interest has been pounding into that particular name over years. Maybe we could have seen that pattern emerging, right? With continuous interest in terms of institutional investors, continuous interest growing in terms of shares that are being owned and held constantly. It is telling you that they are preserving for the greater good of this company. That's why a lot of interest has been accumulated from the investor. That indication, you get it. After that, what are the things you need to analyze? One, whether do you understand the business of what Tesla does? Okay. Second, what is the good things about this company for the world, for the future? That connect you have to be able to do for any of the companies you are trying to invest. That's why you understand the business, and when you what it means to understand the business, nothing but you will get to know the importance of it in the stock market world or in our general world. Once you get that, maybe you will take chance to invest a particular amount of money. That is the good lead you get. That's why these reports help you make decisions like that. Hey, can you tell me a stock that that is going to happen that way, right? There's no guarantees, but on right? Nike is struggling, same apparel company. Well, Nike is struggling. That stock has been performing since 2-3 quarters, right? This could be a temporary. If the company after a year or two doesn't make any new things or new inventions, there will be no interest. But at this point, it is giving you clear indication that interest has been building. That's how you invest. You take chance. You make decisions. You change it. Or you pick a stock called Kava. Let's see. I never went back and seen how the results are looking for this or how the report is. But for Chipotle, right, food chain, this has been emerging as a competitive restaurant where people are liking the food, or it's taking its own course of interest. You see this 86, 136, 195, 283. Just like, oh, you know what? I know we all live in different parts of the United States, but you know what? North Carolina is becoming a boom for this particular. Austin, crazy, going crazy. Oh, New Jersey has been there for years, old city, but still crazy amount of prices. But new cities, what are those? Oh, Dallas, people are going there. It's a lot of price compared to 2013. It takes time. 13 versus now, 5-time increase, 10-time increase, whatever it is. Same thing is happening here. There is interest. Now, whether you take chances here or you don't take chances here is depends on, again, so many things. Like I said, did you understand the business? Do you know what it means to the world market? Right? Because stock market is nothing but a particular stock is a business replica, and that business has to flourish for the company to survive. So, am I doing that? Once those are done, do I have money that I can risk? If my things go right or wrong, what could be that? And you take chances. So, like that, if I don't have this report, maybe people talk, it might it may never get to my attention first place. Let's say even I get to my attention, there is no mathematical evidence, right? So now the mathematical evidence is people are believing it. Institutional billion investors are believing it like crazily. So I might have taken chances here, would have given results, and it may not happen overnight because they are visionaries who take chances sometimes up way early in the stage to survive and thrive, right? So like that, that's how these reports will be helpful. And going back to how do I understand this report? We talked about, hey, you need to know about institution counts. How do you get it? Nothing but SEC, Security Exchange Commission. As long as you know what they do, they try to impose some rules for the safeguarding of investments, for the safeguarding of individual people in the stock, there, such that there are no mess ups. So they have set some rules, and we talked about those rules. And according to that, investors have to act. When they act, that's how ThinkSabio has converted a lot of individual reported data into cumulative things, massage, make it look good, make it understandable, easy to process to our minds, basically. Then we talked about, hey, do you know about shares? We talked about it. So as long as you know that, it's coming out the same thing. Do you know the price? Do you know what a volume is? Counts and shares. That's it. Rest is self-explanatory math. Percentage share change is just a percentage, right? So between quarter to quarter, etc. That's how across the reports are built. So that's the intent. You don't have any reference. This comes as a reference point for you to be able to look into, make sure, okay, I have some reference, what is going on, who is doing what. Apart from this report, you also have a chat group where 1,000+ people with good intent, good interest, having positive vibes. They share their valuable information in terms of what they like about this company, etc., etc. So you are getting live personal viewpoint, and then something with a lot of investors' interest viewpoint, both together at one place, right? That's one good thing. So keeping that aside, once you know a stock, once you hear about a stock, or once you go to a particular shop and do shopping, you might think, oh, does it have any stock for this particular company? And then you look up. That's first-hand information you're getting it to start with. And then, as I said, both places are giving you a lot of confidence to move forward with your decision making. And then let's say you might be curious. We talk about Warren Buffett a lot, and especially in terms of his wealth by being an investor, right? Rather than technology companies or finding out so many crazy things in inventing crazy things. He didn't do that. But as an investor, we talk about him. But as a person or an individual, I might be curious why he has grown to that kind of amounts in terms of being an investor, right? Then it could be anybody you like. You want to know. So then that's where there is something called individual institution report. We talked about it. I, as a company or as a hedge fund, I'm managing more than 100 million assets under management. Then I have to report. Then those reports are being made into a easily understandable format by ThinkSavvy, right? Now I'm interested. What Warren Buffett might be doing. What could be his portfolio looks like, why he has become a successful investor in the stock market world, etc., etc. So this is his thing, right? Only 43 holdings he has, out of which some could be sold off too. But just to give a perspective, he has very less, out of which his biggest holding is Apple, then Bank of America, then American Express, then Coca-Cola, then some energy company, Chevron, etc., etc. So these are his holdings. This is the known thing. He's a famous investor. He succeeded. Then it could be no surprise. But you might be thinking, oh, there are people who pay $100 per Motley Fool. Or we might be in the illusion of, okay, they found about Netflix. They told to investors. They told hundreds of stocks, and I'm sure Netflix is one which work very well. So you might be thinking what they hold. Rather than what they tell, you want to see what Motley Fool holds, right? So you can go. Okay, not so full. So Motley Fool, they themselves have some holdings and they report where they are investing, whether they are investing in a new stock, etc. You'll be able to figure out. How do I figure out between a quarter to quarter if they invested in a new stock? You see here status. Again, as I said, very self-explanatory. Individual institution report for Motley Fool. So let's say me, Dhanu as a company, if I have Dhanu LLC, individual report of Dhanu LLC. The moment I do that, today I might say, hey, I have a portfolio, I'm having 500K, 100K, 50K, 10K, 5K, but you don't know where I invested, honestly, right? You want to see it, you have a visibility of that between quarters to quarter, self-explanatory. Whether I'm looking latest quarter towards backward or I'm looking from quarter 3 2023 to backward, why would you see that is a different reason, but they are giving 12 plus quarters of data, right? And you want to compare between 2 quarters and see which is clearly showing, but you want to do more quarters, it will show up. But let's see, you will do 3 quarters just to see what happens. So like that. Now instead of 2 quarters, you got it. I talked earlier, you need to know about shares, quarterly shares. You need to know about quarterly counts. Okay, based on that, you will be able to continuously figure out who is doing what kind of comparison, whether they got into anything new. But let's see if we want to see anything new they got into, right? We go to status, you click newly bought, self-explanatory. When you're comparing two things, what would be the thing? When I say increase, what it means? It means nothing but, well, I had $5 earlier, I might have $6 if you're comparing with price. If you're comparing with institution numbers, there used to be 5 friends investing versus 6 friends invested now. If it says reduced, The 5 friends invested earlier in Apple, now it is 4, something like that, right? So it's a status, self-explanatory as long as you go through it. Now I want to just see if Motley Fool invested anything newly bought, right? That it's a newly bought, that's why they don't have anything earlier quarters, right? Now they have it. So they got into, Crocs, right? It's I believe it's a shoe or apparel company, right? And then few other stocks. It's just a perspective, you know. We said Carvana is bankrupt. They got into last quarter. When they got into last quarter, that means around any time starting new year, right? They might have got anywhere. But thing is, at least they took advantage from 40 to $100, $120 it went recently. So that's the thing. It's giving you perspective, different perspective of who is doing what, whether famous investors doing or anything that you come across an article. You want to see data physically. You might come across the data saying Dhanu LLC did great, 1 billion profit, but how? You want to see, you want to have some kind of uh, numbers visible to you in front of you. So that's how this report of individuals institution report will help you to find who are great investors, what they really get into, good or bad, just as a viewpoint, right? So that, like that, you have different reports. Things have your diamonds. I talked out of all those people who were making $1 billion consistently, they picked 10 people, and then those 10 people, different things. Those 10 people's report, what they do, you compare different things like that, so many things. Mark Minervini, I'm sure whoever is active in social media, Mark Minervini is one who has set himself as a retail investor and then grew his portfolio by having simple rules of compounding gain concept, etc. So they built their report, how it looks based on his ways of finding stocks, etc. You can build your own, etc., etc., etc. So like that, if I have to jump into more reports, right? In terms of on a day-to-day what is happening, right? I'll go through day-to-day, long-term ways, etc. I showed you few things. I'll show more, and last 5 minutes I will just reiterate about entire concept of connecting dots from start to end of what we spoke today. So daily, you're jumping in the market, you want to see what is happening quickly. So whether based on index or whatever, you have here one report which clearly says right from the start 4 a.m., right? Of course, 9:30 a.m. is where the real market with a lot of investors interest across the world starts up. But right from 4 a.m. starts capturing to tell you why stocks are moving, etc. And let's say a particular stock is making progress, things have your admins very actively post news ASAP and also connect the dots of why the stock is performing, etc. Right? For some reason, it broke, had a good FDA approvals, or if it got some licensing approvals, proposals, or having mergers, or buying out interest from different companies. So many reasons could impact. That's what, right? I have started from zero, but as a community, 1,000 people viewpoints are pouring in with a different direction, giving different perspectives. So that gives us to learn what are the important aspects to look into before you make a decision for different kinds of investments, for a daily investment, long-term investments, etc., right? So like that, you as having access to this website is giving first place what is happening in the market along with reasoning, both here and then, continuously in the chart groups. Earlier I showed what are our chart groups, what it means by names. You got that too. So like that, if I want to have from an index itself, I can get it. Instead of that, I want to see what are 52-week high, right? There are so many stocks. How many stocks we'll talk about it, but everything making something new heights are coming. Why they are making new heights? In this, you don't want to jump in randomly. Rather, you can look into market cap to analyze what is the worth of that company, right? And then we talked, always look at institute counts to just give you a perspective. And this is all related to price, right? We talked about counts, you see counts. We talked about price, you see price. We talked about shares, you see that. And then we talk about volume, you see that. Anything else is there. It's just to understand and lay out what is important versus what is not. So like that, something is hitting new highs. You want to stay focused to see, is it something I think I need to pay attention, or I like this company, something like that. It brings to your attention. Same thing. In this kind of market, especially now it's an uptrend market that has been there, right? In this uptrend market, why some stocks are making very low, 52-week lows, that means 1 year lows. That means these are something I want to short or maybe worth noting. Not only just because you want to do some trades, but this gives you some direction. If certain stocks in this particular area are continuously making lows, that means that sector is not working, or something it is giving you a direction, something is going to happen, so let's be prepared, something like that. That kind of analysis also this provides, and this is again on a day to day, right? But other than that, earlier Sai took an example of ON stock with weekly performance, like that. Now I come in here, okay, I want to make some decisions for investment. I have few funds. At the same time, I don't want to just see which is a very long shot or known company like Amazon, Apple. No, I don't want that. But something emerging that could be noteworthy. Like Kava is very, very good. I saw it around, Jan first week. Of course, I didn't make any trade. That's where, you pulling the trigger, your confidence, what really you're liking about the business, all that makes a big difference, right? So like that, you can find both what is uptrending, what is downtrending, right? This helps in different things. One, downtrending you want to do, and try to bet on down market for a short terms. You have knowledge. See, this is all, as I said again and again, I'm searching. The idea is to have a perspective in front of you, have a probability game in front of you. How you use it, it depends on our where we stand in terms of our age, in terms of our uh, uh, real dollars we own, risk we can take, the mentality we have towards any PL loss, right? Profit loss, gain changing here and there. Everybody shivers. So it all depends. But you have this report where you clearly can figure out. So now I want to just see what is happening, right? Anything that is performing since 8 weeks, what it is telling me, if they are performing 8 weeks, means I could have, if I did homework maybe at 4 or 5, I might take some chances, depending on so many factors that actively give you engage with information. So these stocks are performing, why they are performing, etc. If you simply search with this stock, you might find some information in ThinkSabio if something popped recently. If not, also there are quick Google or any other website you can figure out to be able to find, okay, this is the thing is happening with this was a good investment. Even they hold penny stocks also are moving, but where my heart connects, yeah, 42 becomes 50, I make quick. It can also become to 30, I lose quick too. You have to think both sides and take decisions, but you have a perspective look into, right? 8 weeks, why are they performing? 12 weeks, anything performing really, right? CGI, this is a paper company, because in the past things have you mentioned a couple of times, and it gave 3x one time, 2x one time, 1x one time, something like that. Ever since it posted, it went up, and right now again publishing, but I never paid attention like that. Every individual could also pay attention. As long as they are seeing success, they can also share to entire team over the chart and slowly be part of things have your team, and help all our individuals, and we all grow. So like that, this giving clear perspective of what stocks are moving and what should be my pulling trigger is something we define the terms, right? These are just uh, providing you what is happening in the market. So like this, now if something is happening for 4 weeks, the idea is anytime something is having hard time, it will have a hard time until things change. So 4 weeks is a good point of view to see the stock is struggling, etc., etc. Right? So since 4 weeks the stocks are not performing, you might be good at healthcare. You might be good at analyzing tech stocks. You might be good at analyzing energy stocks, or you are working in that area. In and out what is happening, how trades are happening between countries, etc. So you might take chances by seeing these reports also to figure out where you want to bet, which way you want to bet. Like this. So if something is going since 7 weeks down, what are those? See, so many stocks are not doing good. So that means market has some kind of direction for this kind of stocks. Maybe trucking business is not good. If something is not doing good for 7 weeks, maybe trucking it is having challenge. You don't have to jump in here, but at least after 3-4 weeks, see 182 to 173, something like that. So again, you might fail, your decision might fail. Then you learn from it. Okay, next time I need to have more checkpoints, not just because it is in 4th week downtrend, I'll go for it as a downtrend, or if it's uptrend, I'll go for it. No, my checkpoints will be this. Sometimes you took it backfired, and then it just went up like crazy, right? You thought it is performing well. That's a learning thing too. That's why you put some money for learning perspective. Or we talked about TH Washlage, we talked about TS virtual portfolio. All these are a place where you enlighten yourself into from a bad perspective to good perspective. You have everything at one place if you want to use it, right? That's a motive. That's what any company would think as what would my user need. For you to learn, you have a placeholder in terms of TS watch list, in terms of real portfolio, virtual portfolio, and all that without putting your money. And then you also have a way to find stocks by yourself. Like I said, sitting at home, my cousins with no knowledge, they can do it. They're failing, that's okay. They just started, but eventually they will gain confidence, and I'm sure they will perform, right? So this is one report. But in terms of daily also, they brought up one report where the stock of a price is working every day. Since 6 days, if something is going up, there should be some significance. TGT, target, favorite company, right? For all my household women, basically they go look around, buy something for kids. So these kind of companies, if they're performing, you might take chance. Maybe some other retail earnings did good. That's why it's moving. See, I told you, when it's working for 4 or 5 days, that means it forms a pattern, and it can nicely skyrocket or it can fall down. That's where you put in your perspective, your SLs, your risk reward game upfront. You will have a plan upfront, not after going to the showroom. You will think, okay, I am going to spend between 30K to 35K. That's my budget. You don't go there and just because you saw a 100K car which is looking what you need in your dreams, you just don't go there and say, okay, bring it out of the showroom. No way, right? Because our budget was 35K, and you go and pick that stock, it's not going to work. I mean, sorry, that car, it's not going to work because that's way out of your budget. Similarly, what is my game plan? You need to define that, have it, and then put in the game. Otherwise, definitely we are not going to see what we need. So like that, see 146, boom. In next 3 days, 155. And it could pretty much fell, and it could have went to 140. That's where you see what the market, I mean, if I were you, this is what I see when I do this. Did it have any retail earnings recently or upcoming? Other than that, how the market is performing, whether it could be SPY or QQQ. Okay, these two things are positive trend. This is also positive trend. I think I might take a chance. On top of it, some people look into technical support, resistance, and all. All these combinations will only give you more probability and confidence for you to be able to get in and out of a trade, right? So all this setting up scans and all that, may be possible, but otherwise at one place I have it clearly. What are the things that are going up? Oh, something is going up since 9 weeks. AMRC. Wow, this is some construction company, and it just keep going. So you might get a very clear perspective of what stocks to invest. Same thing. If something is not performing, let's see with price and volume, right? Price and volume makes everything. How many? Just three, because volume can change. One day 10,000, tomorrow 9,000 also. It's not consistently going up, so this report won't capture it. But since 3 days, these stocks are performing. Here it will tell you what stocks or what, at least what industry it is performing or sector, and you'll have some more ideas. From one idea leads to another kind of discussion. You might get your thoughts in place. So same way, downtrend. What is going on? Downtrend. How many stocks? So many stocks going from downtrend from 10 weeks. Why this is going? Something is not good with this company, with them, etc., etc. So like that, you'll be able to find on a daily and a weekly, which gives weekly gives you bigger. Daily is like it can change, but weekly is something is interesting, that something is keeping them on a uptrend or a downtrend. That means investors' interest is continuously showing in one direction. So there is some trade opportunity there. How do you trade it? It again depends about our rules, our thing, our game plan in place, and then take chances. So that is in terms of that. Not only that, you want to see on a quarterly basis what are the things that make up good stocks. Just so you know, using this report, as I said 3 years ago when I joined, the way Sai was sharing information and what I saw, etc. Using these reports with the different filters, they were able to catch SC at $30. $30 to $400 stock. Again, COVID helped again, all that. But that is what it is, right? In a market, when it is moving upward or downward, you need to have some stock that you can define. This is my bet, right? You are doing a horse race. Some suddenly rain comes and it stops, or current is not, or some hoarding falls down. That is not in your control, right? Those are the reasons you don't know. But if when race is starting and everything, you have to bet on a horse, you need to know which horse. After that, what happens, that's a different story. But at least you need to know and have a method for you to pick that horse. Similarly, so SC was found at $30. It did great. And recent, after COVID era, Nvidia was talked a lot. Once 2022, it backed out a little bit, but most believed stock in things, and you know what it is doing. Although it went up that much, still it was promoted, saying, we believe in the stock. So like that, there are so many things. Recently, Kawa, with the help of ThinkSapiens and ThinkSabio report together, like that, you will be able to find good names. There are so many uh, biostock that has given results. All this from the reports and news, combination of things that help you make a decision. So like that, this one, as I said, always the reports are self-explanatory. Report of all consistently increased. So basically, whichever stocks consistently are increasing, right? Their count is increasing since quarters, they are giving. Now, instead of 2 quarters, right? Instead of 2 quarters from 4-7, I want to see from 5 quarters if there are any increasing, right? This is count. If you see, this is count. 5 quarters came up now, right? If you remember, first itself we talked. Before we start, you need to know what a SEC, what a institution count, what a shares, what is price, what is volume. Concept is same. You're sitting around same thing. You're which company, what does they do, etc., etc. Accounts. So they are growing. Some interest from 43, 44, 44 to 47, 47. Some interest is. Similarly, you can find patterns in by using different filters. A particular industry you are interested in, particular price you are interested in, etc., etc. Instead of just counts, you want to do both, because that's a good combination. I don't want counts, I want shares or both, because shares increase is nothing but positive interest. Both is positive interest. So I prefer shares or both. So out of this, these stocks are coming. PLTR, we talked many times. The thing is, stock market day-to-day fluctuations are very common. We as an individual investor or investors who did not see the market dynamics think, the moment you invest, it has to be in green. That perspective itself will let us fall down, right? So if you see, from many, this is just you're seeing in front of you 1 year plus. But if you see, if you bring down, let me see if I can bring down for 10 years. I don't know, PLTR might not exist, right? 7 quarters, it might not have done its job like that. So that's why 5 quarters it's been going. But when it IPO'd in 2022 or 21, it would have started at 300. Then continuously, investors' interest has gone heavy into this company. And this might perform over time depending on its business, etc., right? But that's where you get confidence. Okay, I can invest into this stock because 1,000 people, 1,000 billionaires already believed into this company. This is just giving you nice perspective to start with, like that. Even shares, they're nicely going up, etc., etc. So these are the companies you want to look into to see what could be my betting thing. So like that, you can use different filters. Okay, you know what? Minimum 1 year, I need 50%. If there is 50% of it, let me see what are those stocks. So that way you are able to find something that is performing, right? If we talked earlier, one example, you go to Austin saying, okay, the prices are going up, right? So why the talk comes? Because slowly people were interested, the demand was going up. That's why that name came to that city versus, you don't hear many other cities. But if you hear at the wrong time of the peak, you might not see any more returns from there until certain point of time, or you might see downfall before going to the positive again. So that's the reason once you hear something, you put in where you stand in terms of taking advantage versus not. So like that, these are the things that are performing. If a stock is giving return,
yeah. Sorry to interrupt, buddy. I think we'll take a break here. So and then I think too much to consume for them as well in one session.
Okay.
It's going really cool, but I think for them to comprehend, we will just give a break, and then we'll plan every week so that they will have time to digest and understand and all. So with that being said, I think we can open up maybe a 5 minutes, 10 minutes question and answer so we can conclude.
Yeah,
Then,
sure, Sai. I think
they
makes
can
sense.
continue next week, or as we planned every week, 1 day or 2 days, whatever depends on their interest. I know you and Swapna and I are there always to give the we'll take few features every week, like 3 or 4, because too many to consume is also tough for them because they're all new, right? I would take few features like 2, 3, and then let them digest, and then we'll go, rather than overwhelming with so much over 1 day. But I think team Think Sapiens, I know some of them are already asking questions. Dhanu, I think we'll take these questions because questions are also important. And then probably we can wrap it up.
Yeah, sure, Sai. Yeah, team, if you have any questions, we're more than happy
So
to
there are
answer.
questions already asked there, Dhanu. So I think we can take up, or you can answer keyboard.
Yeah. Yeah, so CKDU has one question about what are the stocks we need to look to select the stocks. Again, it's not a simple, okay, go to this report and do it. There are different ways to, find stocks. That's what we are covering in the sessions one by one. But to give a perspective, it will be, individual statistical report, institution report, or things have your diamonds report, or things have your ultimate reports, and so forth. So those all help you find different perspectives to be able to make some decision making.
Yeah, and one more thing I'm going to add to to that question, and it's very, very crucial question. Actually, I would say it's a very challenging question also, buddy. CK, what you asked, that is the challenging part, right? Everybody is trying to solve. Everybody wants to know, where should I invest? So to give that, there is no definitive answer, as Dhanu said, but the way I wanted to give you my personal experience, right? What I'm doing right now. So what I chose is my method. If you are in the stock market group, which I am also sharing, I picked a few stocks which are my long term, or where I'm planning to build wealth. That is my long term for long-term meaning 1 year or 2 years until I meet my goals. So I kept those as my stocks that I'm not going to touch. For example, in my real-time case, I picked 3 of them. One is CRVS, the other one is UPST, Upstart, and the third one is Sound, that's AI-based company, right? Those 3 I wanted to retain until I meet my goal. That's what I put myself, my goal. Again, my goal cannot be your goal, but at least those I picked and I'm going to sit on it. For example, CRVS, I'm already sitting 1 year on it, right? That's a biotech company. And the other 2 companies that I picked, Sound and UPST, they both are AI related, artificial intelligence related companies. They both are beaten down, or one is in a very startup actually. Sound is in a startup based because it just got picked up because of the AI, ChatGPT and all that. So I picked that because NVIDIA invested into it. That's where I came to know about SOUM. So I picked that as my long term. Okay. And the third one is UPST, which is a highly performed stock back days, but because of the interest rates and economy and all that, it fell down from 400 to literally $20. Right now it's 24, 23, but it went down to even 17. From 400, we are talking 17 or 16. Also it went. So that too, I picked it up thinking that, okay, once the economy builds up within a year or so, this stock will go back to at least 2-fold or at least double is what my confidence. If I am wrong, so be it. I'm ready to, accept it. See, that is my conviction and my confidence and my courage. But since, I'm in the very beginning stages of, it's early price like 24, 23 range. 25 is my average. Right now, it's like 23 somewhere around. So I'm down like 6 or 5% or 7%. But I'm okay because as I said in my early beginning of this conversation, I'm not using more than 10% of my margin. So I'm super safe, right? So that's what that I kept it as my long-term goals to build much wealth. And again, the TS999, that's what I'm reporting. They are weekly trending stocks like ON or VATL, which I've been talking off late. I'm showing my screens also, right? If you go back to, things you have your stocks group, I found out VATL because it came into trending stock from the last few weeks, from the last 4 weeks or 3 weeks, the stocks are going up. Those we are bringing it up to ThinkSavvy group, and eventually we will bring it up that report also into the ThinkSavvy website very soon. That's called TS Weekly Diamonds. And we are right now sending an email to every one of you on Friday. The top 25 TS Weekly Diamonds, we call it, right? So those are your good startup to see the current trends right now from the last 2-3 weeks, what is happening. So those I'm going to play with a little bit of that. That way I can capture the current trends so I can make money. So for example, VATL, I made around 10%. The other one is, what is the other one? I forgot the name of the, hold on 1 second. Sorry, let me see my portfolio real quick. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So Kava is another stock, which one of the ThinkSavvians brought it to the team attention, and I captured that. That was giving almost 44% returns as speaking. And CELH is also trending stock, which is an energy drink, which gave me around 20% returns. And yeah, HAMS is the one I was about to talk, right? HAMS is a trending stock from the last few weeks. So, we capture those.
Sorry. Can you are you sharing the screen? Sorry.
No, not now, buddy. Not now.
Okay.
So HAMS is also, we picked it from the latest trending stocks. So to answer CK to your question, the way I go is pick few stocks to keep it long term, or I'm not going to touch or play around with it. And few stocks which I capture from the latest trending stocks and make quick money like 10, 20, 20%. And then, clean it up. Or if it is going up, let it go and then put the, your profit margin, as I said earlier, if you bought it 17, if it went to 20, and if it is falling, you put it 19, sell some, 18, sell some, 17, it falls below your price, then clean it up. Some of these stocks, because these are not your long term, right? you're taking advantage of the current trends. So that's what I'm following. So for that, as Dhanu explained, you have different reports. Hope that answers to some extent to your question.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
The next question is, SS has something related to technical support levels, etc. I'll go through that in the next session or end of this. Jumping to next question, Naveen has asked if there is a way to see stocks that are performing with certain percentage down, etc., etc. I think let me quickly share my screen. Yeah, I think you should be able to see. So he asked if there are some stocks that are performing in last 1 year with certain percentage down, like 90%, 70%. So all these are stocks. So this is one report daily on institution. Simply you go here and daily all institution report. When I go to that, so it comes out, and this report will help you to know how many stocks exist, etc., etc. And then along with that, it captures their count, shares, etc., and also the performance of them, that particular stock, considering year to today, and then 1 year, 5 years, etc., etc. So this stock might have not IPO'd 5 years ago. That's why you don't see a value here. But again, since last 1 year, it's 99% down, so forth. You can play around. There are also filters. You can play around filters to figure out within the price range you want to see. Maybe you want to see something between 25 to 50, etc. Doesn't matter. Any filter. Again, you can pick and choose to find out stocks that are down based on his
So
question.
Dhanu, it's a very good question he asked, but I'm also curious. In our filters, are we allowing the negative percentage? So he wanted to know the stocks which are down 75% min. Min YTD is 75%. So I know we always looked at a positive way. It's a really good question, actually. I'm curious myself. So do we have any attribute where we say, hey, show me stocks YTD down being 75%?
Yeah, we can. Those I think I have to see if negative value takes. But again, using this filters minimum to date, as long as it takes negative percentage, it should be able to. Otherwise, maybe
I think we have to add it. I don't think we are negative.
If it doesn't, you have to add that feature to include. That's all.
Yeah, buddy, you made us to think, Naveen. So Shiva, please note down, buddy. I don't think I tried in build your own giving negative, but it's not taking the negative.
Okay, got it.
So I think the other alternative, I think to that question, is go by the growth, min growth, possible growth. I think the answer to that is a possible growth.
Yeah, if it's 52 week.
Possible growth, right?
Yeah.
Possible growth, if you put the 75%, I think those are the stocks which are down.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, I think sometimes we need refresh too.
Yeah, that is with respect to last 1 year. If you see any 75%.
So put 75%, which means, so that feature, buddy, minimum possible growth 75 is, so the stock went down, right, from the 52-week high, and now it has 75% of growth expected. That's what it means, possible growth.
Yeah.
So we take 52-week high. From 52-week high, it was down at least 75%.
So if you consider LGVN, just because it's in front of our screen, at some point it was 40 last year this time. Now it is at $1. So it has almost a $38 difference. And if you see in terms of growth wise, 35x basically.
Possible growth. So to his answer, to answer his question, Naveen, I think you have to go through this report. Go show the report where he has to go. The all institution report. Then go to that filter. I think we have to give a clear-cut answer, right? So go to.
If you go to reports, you go to daily, then all institution report, and once you click it, this is what it comes. And then, like I said, 2 ways. If you're looking for yearly and top to bottom down, you can just sort on that 1 year percentage, right here. Or if you are looking for year to date, what are the stocks that are doing very bad? Once you sort it, you will get it. The another way is there is something called possible growth. The if I go to the thing, if you see here, 52-week minus current price into current price. So basically, the idea is wherever the stock was at 52-week high, which is 1 year ago, oh no, 52-week ago at some point of in this year versus now where it is. So if it were to go back to that 52-week high price, what is the percentage it's possible to grow, basically. So the best thing is if we incorporate that negative value also, I think that's when it's straightforwardly they can pick between a time frame, percentage, and then.
So, and also one more thing, Sabians, one other thing is here you see search and reports, right? You might be wondering why they both exist. So to answer that, the reason why we introduced it is in search also you get the same features as report. Some of them. The reason why we put reports is some of the people may not be able to search because they don't have the knowledge or whatever. So the idea of having reports is they click, they go to the report. That's why we have search and reports. So some of the things can be accomplished in both the places, some of the things, right? So that's the difference. I know you may be wondering why they both exist. Okay. So yeah. So the next question then.
It's from Omar Asmat. Will a count increase if there is a stock split? So stock split is with respect to, if you think through, right? Let's say we invested, 5 investors invested. If a stock split happens, my shares will either decrease or increase depending on whether it's a reverse split or just a stock split, forward stock split, right? So ThinkSabio has clearly maintained a strategy. If a stock splits, let's say if it's a 1-to-2 ratio of reverse split, according to that ratio, if it were having 10 stocks, it will increase the number of stocks. And let's say like NVIDIA, it is going to do a 1-to-10, right? If you had 10 stocks earlier, now you will have more stocks, right? So they clearly plan to apply stock split as soon as it happens. Let's say starting June 7th, I believe NVIDIA is going for that split ratio, whatever they shared. So June 7th onwards, all those shares will accordingly change, and the consistency is maintained across every quarter. That way there is no difference in what you see today versus what is going to happen on June 7th. Basically, those numbers will accordingly align.
Yeah, that's right. So to simplify the answer, right, Omar, your question is, will a count increase if there is a stock split? The answer is straight yes. The count will increase. Say you have 10 stocks of NVIDIA. After when they split it to 1:10 ratio, when it happens, your 10 shares will become 100. But the value will be the same because they are dividing the value by the number of shares, right? So your count will definitely increase. From 10 shares, it will become 100 shares, for example. It will be multiplied. Is that clear, buddy? Omar?
Yes, that's clear. Actually, I was wondering, like, when you're pulling up institution reports and you're looking at the count that increased. So if a stock reverse splits or forward splits, then is
nothing
that
to do with the count, buddy? Institution count has nothing to do with the stock split. Absolutely, because institutions already have it, right?
Yeah,
Those
I
counts
see.
do not have any impact. The number of
I
shares
see.
will have an impact.
I see. So the account will stay the same. The number of shares the institution has will increase.
Of course, right? Because they're multiplying it. The NVIDIA is multiplying, your shares by 10 times and reducing price by 10 times.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So
okay.
Next we have same again now Omar Asmat. Do you also short stocks that are downtrending at this point? Again, like I said, ThinkSabio's main goal is to provide data or show you a perspective, or in terms of famous saying, try to see how we can catch fish ourselves, right? But long story short, yeah, never shorting is done or being attempted, I believe, in terms of stocks. In terms of options,
At least I haven't done, buddy, yet. I'm
yeah,
not
yeah,
even
yeah.
courageous enough to do that too.
Yeah, in terms of options, definitely yes, buys or calls or puts, both have been taken care. But again, yeah.
But the stories I read, Omar, about shorting stocks, unfortunately, the stories I read were scared. Like 2 or 3 institutions were bankrupted with the AMC or
GME saga.
yeah, GME or whatever. And also one Indian guy, I'm sorry to name like that, but one Indian guy story I heard in Texas, where he shorted the stock, but the stock went up like 25 times or 30 times, and the entire 15 million bankrupted in overnight. Those stories really scares the hell of, why.
Yeah, it's totally. I mean, I completely empathize with you. I have the same feeling, but I guess the curiosity on my mind was, it's like they take a stair step going up, but when they come down, they just, completely flatten like a pancake.
That's right. But if you have extra money, like let's say I'm just giving the number. If I have $10 extra money and I don't care, then maybe you are curious, you can try. But if your $10 is worthy, then I don't want to take the risk. So it's all risk playing game, right?
Sure,
So
sure.
I won't play with my own money to try my luck. I never want to try that. I mean, even if I have extra money, I think 100 times. I personally, again, it's my personal choice. I never want to go that direction. But again,
Is
as you
there
said,
is
I'm
there a way,
options.
Sairam, like where you can do comparative analysis where you have one stock of the same sector compared to another stock, and the difference in the ratio of where it's currently at and where the other one should be? For example, if you take like Apple and Amazon, it's assumed that Apple and Amazon would increase together. So, is there a way to compare one stock with another stock if there's
Yes. We have a feature
difference?
called compare symbols in our
Okay.
screen. I think that will be covered. I mean, we can show even now, but if you guys have energy. But there are so many features. So one is, the clear example is compare symbols. See here, as is, bringing up, you compare
Nice.
Amazon versus Apple, if you want the real example, right? So we can show you the difference of how the institutions counts and shares. Then you can make a decision, okay, where they are increasing more in one stock versus, less, whatever. So this will help you
Excellent.
to make very good decision making skills. Basically, yes.
Yeah,
So
this
talk
is
to buddy.
helpful. Thank you. Thank you. This is very
Yeah, and
helpful.
likewise, you asked this question. So likewise, you can also compare the institution. Let's say you like Morgan Stanley and you like ARC Investment Management, for example, and you wanted to compare those two institutions and see what are the common stocks they both bought, because you believe in those two institutions. For example, you love or you like those two institutions, and if they both bought the same stock, you are interested. So you can even explore that feature too in the feature called compare institutions. So there's so much in the website, buddy. I mean, if you like the data, you would love the website. And again, everything we cannot cover one session because you will all be tired. I know it's
Sure.
already 2 hours, especially Sunday. So we wanted to limit this 1 hour so that, it's a quick to grasp, and then you guys can
Sure, sure,
relax.
sure.
I'm sorry. I know today I took a lot of time in introducing myself
No,
and
no,
all
no.
that.
It was very helpful, at least for me. I really appreciate your efforts and your time as well. Just one curiosity, is there a way to gather the type of institutions that most of the Think Savians follow so that way we can kind of focus
Yeah.
our energy in those?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. We can share that. And also there is a institution ranking report is also there in the website where you can see, then you can go to search and institution ranking report. And other than that, buddy, we will share you in a stocks group. There are some some healthcare biotech institutions. There are around 10 or 11, which we deeply follow them. If you are a biotech, interested person. But if not, in general, there are other institutions like Bailey Gifford, or other institutions where we will keep seeing millennium management and all that. They are the most frequent occurrences which we can believe. And this report that Danu is showing here, what we have shown here is we picked all the institutions and taken all their active stocks as of the last quarter. And then we are showing how many of their active stocks, how many of them are positive, YTD being positive now, and how many of them being negative. So that will give you one perspective. Okay, if the first institution, if you look at it, this particular EAM investor, you can read, whatever the name, right? So this guy has 231 stocks invested. Out of them, 221 are positive.
I see.
So, that's like a big number, right? Of course, I don't know how much percentage returns, but YTD is greater than 0, at least. That could be 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, whatever. So, but at least his or her picks are positive. 95% her picks are positive. So you may be interested what the hell of the stocks they invested. So you click on that first hyperlink, then you will go and see all their 211 or 31 stocks.
Oh, wow.
And then you get an idea. Oh, okay. Out of the 95 picks being positive is no kidding, right? It's like really something is really happening with this institution. They are picking really good, or they have great analysts, or they have great scientists, whatever, right? So that's one thing.
Understood.
Yeah. Any other questions, things, Abhyans? This is solid 2 hours. I mean, it's really great. Sunday, you guys spending 2 hours. I mean, this shows your dedication and interest and your burning desire to learn. When, it's definitely knowledge will be very useful, my friends, and you guys can teach to your kids. I wish I had this 20 years ago, this knowledge, man, I could have been in a different position. But nevertheless, we found a method where, as Dhanu explained and we explained, but I can tell you with the honest truth, making money is no big deal. People unnecessarily complicate it. You need to have a IIT, MIT, YYT degree, Harvard degree, and all kind of stuff. I can prove it. I have proven, and I will prove there's no damn big deal to make money. A simple few principles, self-discipline will get us there. It may be a matter of time. Of course, capital matters for everyone, right? That is the biggest factor. But if we have the right capital, making good wealth, I mean, even though it takes time, is possible. That's what I'm trying to tell. So we can do it with the good data, and also ThinkSapiens sharing their information. I mean, I caught Kava honestly from one of the ThinkSapiens, I must admit. And once he mentioned, his name is Millionaire, we call it Roz. He mentioned, hey, Kava is a good one. Take a look at it. And I looked at it. It looks like a CMG, Chipotle Mexican, except that here this is a Mediterranean, but they have multiple combinations of their food. I haven't tried the food, but I read their website, and I'm convinced, and I got in, and I already have 43% returns. I'm not 43 or 47, whatever, 44%. I invested in a month and a half or 2 months. Let me see the exact date. But that's the possibilities I'm talking, right? This is no rocket science. There is no mantras or whatever. So if I look at my data, Kava invested on March 11th. You can see in stocks group also I shared March 11th, and today is what? June 2nd. So how many months is that? March 11th, April, May. So around 2.5 months, right? Or 2 months, something like that. In 2 months, I made 40, exact, let me give you the number, 44.31% are my returns. I can call it unrealized because I haven't sold yet. So my returns are 44.31% because my average price is $64. So how did I get it? I mean, one of the ThinkSapiens like you has shared that first Kava. I never went to the restaurant. I never heard. So he mentioned it in the group. I'm giving the credit. The power of ThinkSapiens is we are sharing. We are caring and sharing. That's where we are different than other, internet groups. Internet groups, they share whatever the hell of the information. Here we are curated, and people are really serious people, and they share very meaningful, no kind of, mockery or something like that. We are really, really, to the point, and we have very good collaboration and sharing mindset and things. I'm very proud that we are all aligned with the same goals here. Of course, here and there, some movie jokes might be there to get some humor or fun. But overall, it's an extremely, people are sharing the information and all. I mean, look at that, right? How I got it from ThinkSapiens, and I'm making 44% returns. Who knows, it will be another 6 months or 1 year, I may be making 100% returns. Simple. In 2 months, 2 months, I didn't do anything. I just invested. I am watching every day a movie. It's growing. So likewise, there are so many, right? Of course, likewise, there may be some failures too, perhaps here and there, but we need to handle it, as I mentioned. Right? For example, UPST, I told you, I'm right now down 2.7% down. It was 7 down earlier, but I think it picked up Friday. But SOUN, I'm down 10.6%, which is 11 close to. But am I worried? No, because I'm considering it as long term and I don't have margin, pressure and all that. So likewise, guys, that's all it is. Okay? So thank you all. I know it's 7 o'clock already, 2 hours solid. Any other comments, Dhanu or team? Any other questions before we conclude tonight?
Yeah, I think we have one from Poonam P.
Okay.
This is a great session. What is your cadence to enlighten Think Sapiens regularly, like weekly calls and education sessions? I think since Sai is here, I would
Yeah,
let
I think
him
we are
answer
planning
for that
weekly,
plan.
buddy. Right, Dhanu, we already thought about weekly sessions. At least one or twice, or at least one is what we are thinking. Like Thursday, and if possible, Sunday. Thursday, because being Friday would be, the following day. We thought of Thursday night, 9 o'clock, maybe an hour or hour 15 minutes. Dhanu, I think you may have to speak more, buddy, because you and Swapna might be more covering up.
Yeah, sure, Sai. Again, I'm aligned with your thoughts. Always willing to work with Think Sabia as needed.
So in that case, we can say weekly at least once, my friend.
Yeah. I think I have some ideas too, Sai. Talk of.
Yeah. We earlier thought to have some conference call type of thing too during weekday, but all men, slowly we'll work it out, buddy. I think together we can believe we can achieve bigger things. Together is a big, powerful word. Together, so we'll slowly start. At least start the session first, and then maybe one week Friday or Thursday, maybe during the market hours or after market hours to share their live experiences. Things like that can be possible. Because we are a trusted community here with close to 1,000+ members, right? So I think we can do many wonders and create wealth or build wealth among ourselves with this perfect sharing of knowledge, right? We definitely want to create a big record, my friend, in the Wall Street. Think Sabio has to create a record. That is our goal with the data that we have and people that we have. So let's all strive together and let the world recognize who we are. And I'm awaiting that proud day or moment. And I'm confident we will get there. Okay. We are getting very close, but we will get there soon.
Yeah. Sure, Sai. I believe in that. Same one last question, from Pune. There are so many Telegram channels. What you suggest to follow for beginners? So Pune, that's why I covered that point earlier. I'm sharing my screen now as well. So if you go to community, like the name it says, Think Sabia Stocks is where all the Think Sabian talks about stocks. It's like a regular chart. You can share your viewpoint. I can share my viewpoint, or whoever is part of that group can share openly. And then stock alerts is where Think Sabia admins, specifically, they only have access and they share ideas where they think, like Kava right now, Sai discussed, whether it's an idea from their team, either idea from one of the Think Sapiens, but it has noteworthy at that point, they share entry point, exit points, and upside possibilities, etc., etc. Again, that's only for the perspective. The main goal is to self-learn, try to find fish ourselves, right? Same goes with options chart, and then option alerts is the same theory, like I said, for stock alerts. Other than the rest are like more of generic channels, etc., like the name suggests. So to put it simple for your question, if you're starting the beginner, pay attention to stocks and options.
Stock alerts. Don't even go to alerts, my friend. If you're a beginner of stock market person, don't even look at options. My strong underline million times. Don't even look at options.
Right.
Okay?
100%.
I'm sorry if there are any option lovers. I know, because as a beginner, you never want to mess around with options. So slowly build your wealth in stock market, picking the right choices. Once you make some money, if you have that curiosity, you go play with that house money. not with your own money. I never recommend or suggest anybody to play with options. Not worth. You will regret. I swear on that. Unless you have extra money of not your own money, but earned through market.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
that. Okay. On that note, I think we covered everyone's and questions.
Okay.
I
Wonderful,
know
buddy.
we jumped into different perspectives of the reports, etc. I think Think Sabio has a nice plan about coming up with how many sessions to include for to cover entirely nicely with the Q&A can be anything. Once that is in place, also we'll start on a weekly basis. So it's very helpful.
And one last point, Thingsyabians, if you have any kids of high school or middle school, we get them free access, and we have an internship program. They can learn while they're young too. So they can go to student.thingsabio and they can register, and we display all the top high performers or toppers of, so that they can get to know where their performance and all that too. So just as an FY. So that's also option available so that they can learn right from their young ages. So I have my son, my daughter, both are also learning, because I want to teach them what I missed in my life. So, just as an FY, they can also try with the virtual portfolio 10K. They can play around and learn how their strategy is working. Have the fun of learning. It's all mathematical, predictions and possibilities and probabilities. Yes, thank you all for being here. Solid 2 hours, 7 minutes. Thank you, Dhanu, for your time, and also Shiva and Kavya from our Thingsabio team joined here to assist to help us out. And every Thingsyabian who took your valuable time on a weekend. I hope it is useful, and I hope we have given you some confidence and some real possibility of building wealth. There exists a possibility, right? At least a possibility. Earlier, until I get into the stock market, I never knew I can build a good wealth. I never thought so, because with salaries and all, we stay there, right? Even if house multiplies 10 years, 20 years, it will doubles. But here, if you are in the right investment, look at Tesla, my friends. 2012, if you have invested 5K, 10K, in 2024, you are sitting on $1 million, or at least 700K. I mean, where is that possible? How is that possible? And 5K, 10K, we all Desi people can afford, being in our good IT jobs, or pharma, or whatever profession you are all in, pharmacy or doctors or whatever. So I strongly believe multiplication of wealth is possible in stock market, is what I believed. I've seen real estate and all 9 yards, but I felt very comfortable in the stock market, provided you control your emotions, no greed, no overnight become a millionaire goals. But if you play the game right, I mean, we have seen it. We can build wealth. I'm highly confident, not confident. I'm highly confident with evidence, not with arrogance. So let's see, team. We all will go together, but slow and steady wins the race kind of theory. Okay? Thank you all. We'll meet up again next week or whenever the next sessions, but we'll keep you posted. But feel free to ask any questions in the stocks group, guys. Never be shy. Nobody is an expert here. If we are all learners, don't be shy. Don't be shy to ask any questions. No question is a silly or stupid question, right? Don't be afraid, and be courageous and confident to learn, how to build wealth.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Good night.
Yeah. Thank you, Sai. Thank you, Thingsabio team and all Thingsyabians who joined today. Have a good rest of the day and a good week ahead.
You all.
Bye.
Thank you.